Hey, are you thinking of making the move from Chicago to Green Bay? Well, if you are, there's a couple key differences that you need to be aware of, and we're going to walk through each of those in this video right now. My name is King Jerome, and I'm your local Green Bay real estate agent as well as local guide. And on this channel, I help families and individuals just like you find their perfect home here in Green Bay without the stress and confusion that often comes with relocating. Now let's talk about moving to Green Bay. So one of the first things I'm going to mention, and I'm sure you've heard of, but there's a couple key differences because it's one thing to visit and it's a complete different other to actually live here. Let's start with the cost of living. Cost of living here compared to Chicago is significantly cheap. Significantly cheap compared to Chicago. And I'm talking about with gas prices because for one, we don't have city tax like you guys do in Chicago. That doesn't exist here. Average home price here is between $250 to $275. Of course, there's all kinds of ranges from $88,000 up to $3 million houses all in Green Bay. A lot of the more expensive places are on the outskirts of Green Bay, kind of surrounding it, but the lower to medium prices are usually kind of inside of the city. Another big thing that you may not be aware of, here in Green Bay, we do not have emissions testing. Like, you don't need to get, like the city sticker that you got to put in your car when you go and take it for emissions testing and stuff like that. Doesn't exist here. You can be driving around here in Green Bay without a muffler, and you're not gonna have to worry about having to get that fixed. I mean, yeah, you're gonna probably get some tickets and stuff from the police, but you're not gonna have to have some sticker every single time to make sure that your vehicle's passing emissions. It's different now if you go to like Madison and Milwaukee, but here in Green Bay, not existent. Number two, the housing market. And I know I was just talking about the housing market. In Chicago, as you already know, most homes are apartments. You might have the triple deckers, you might have the high rises. It all depends where and what side of Chicago you live on. If you're on the north side, if you're on the south side, if you're out west, things like that. Here in Green Bay, it's mostly single family homes. Sometimes you might have double decker homes, and a lot of times they have a decently sized lot. You know how like in Chicago you guys have very long lots? Like if you have a home and you have a yard, it's like a long but thin strip of land, right? Here in Green Bay, it's a little bigger. It's definitely a little bigger. And that's great, especially if you're moving here with family and you want them to have a yard and stuff like that. When I say inventory though, there's not so much as there was in years before, and I think it's pretty consistent like that across the United States. But here in Green Bay, inventory, there's still a lot of homes going on for sale, but right now it's a very heavy seller's market right now, and it can be a little competitive. Now let's talk about lifestyle change. The lifestyle here in Green Bay is definitely almost night and day different from Chicago. Chicago, you always got stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff to do in Chicago, a lot of entertainment, things like that. For example, even with transportation, and I'll probably touch on that in a little bit, the busing system, for example. In Chicago, you have a bus going to every stop maybe every couple minutes, correct? Here in Green Bay, it's probably at max maybe 4 times a day that you're gonna have a bus come through. So it's one of those things where you need to be well aware of what time you got to be somewhere and what time the bus is going to be there, because you only got a couple chances. It's not, oh crap, I woke up late, I could just go catch the bus real quick. Nah, it don't work like that here. You have to know where you're going, because here in Green Bay, it's very long blocks. I wouldn't say it's long like Chicago blocks and stuff, like city blocks like that, but they can be decently long. Most of Green Bay, it's a very big driving city. There's no subway here. There's a couple cabs, you might see one, but they're almost rare to see. Most people might just Uber and stuff like that, ride a bike or drive. Some more lifestyle stuff. It's great for children. It's great for kids. If you are moving out of Chicago, for example, because you may not want your kids to be involved and certain activities and things like that, Green Bay is an awesome place for that. I would say that, of course, and I'm sure you guys have heard of a lot of people who've moved from Chicago up to Green Bay, or even any of the cities coming up towards Green Bay, like maybe even Milwaukee, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Green Bay, or even up further. There's always a little bit of crime that happens here and there, but they're usually isolated. There's no established like gang activity that happens here in Green Bay. That is virtually non-existent here. It's to the point where something I had to get used to when I first moved here. For example, you can leave your car running, and I mean I don't recommend this at all, but people here do this all the time, and to this day, me being here now 10 years, it boggles my mind every single time. You can walk into the corner store. Well, we don't really have corner stores here. I mean the gas station. You can walk into the gas station, you'll have people who leave their cars running. Huh? They leave their cars running with nobody inside, and it's cool. People do it all the time. I don't recommend it, and local police will tell you don't do that because people will take your card. But the culture here, and it's been like that for years, the majority of people don't do that. When I mean don't do that, they don't go and steal cars and stuff like that. So you can almost confidently leave your car running. I don't, and I never will. Same thing with leaving your car unlocked and stuff. That's a habit that I actually need to break out of now because I've gotten comfortable here that I can leave my car unlocked and nothing ever happens. Once in a great while, you'll hear about it on the news about someone's car being stolen or getting broken into, but the fact that it makes the news is how infrequent it happens here. The next one we're going to talk about, it may not be a big deal for a lot of people, but if you look through my channel, I like to talk about food. And here in Green Bay, there's honestly limited food options. Although it may be growing, and people here may say that the food options are expanding, look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. No, it ain't it. The food scene here just ain't it, okay? It's very heavy with Mexican food, of course, American food and stuff like that. And you have maybe 3 Indian food places, and that's about it. That's about it. You already know in Chicago, you have all kinds of food. For example, my favorite restaurant to visit down there is La Brasa Roja, Colombian food, right? Maybe you guys have seen that or been through there before. I believe there's 2 locations right now. There was a Colombian place here that opened up for a little bit. I went there with the expectation this is gonna be like the other place I've been to, and it was such a huge letdown that I recorded a video to go post it on my channel. You know, I was like, oh, look, this cool, awesome restaurant. But honestly, it was so bad that I felt bad putting it up because I don't want to be the one to, you know, rain on their parade. But for example, why was I served dino nuggets? At a Colombian restaurant. So I'll leave it at that, right? I'll just leave it at that. But if you're looking for more diverse food options, honestly, the nearest place that I thought had the best food options is in Little Chute, and that's about 20 minutes south of here, going towards Appleton. And it's a restaurant called The Taste of the Windy City, and it is literally the closest thing to Chicago food that I have had since being here. Another thing that may catch you by surprise if you didn't notice it when you came to visit, or if you've never been here, are radio stations. Radio stations, why would you bring that up? I'm telling you, man, it makes a difference. I promise you it does. Here in Green Bay, and it's only Green Bay. It's different in Madison. It's not like that in Madison. It's not like that in Milwaukee. It's not like that in Chicago. But it's just in Green Bay that there is very, very limited radio stations. So if you love to listen to your R&B, to your hip hop, things like that, you're not going to find that in Green Bay. Green Bay is very heavy on country music. They have like maybe 2 or 3 country stations. They have 2 or 3 pop stations, They have one heavy metal station, one Mexican music station, and that's about it. There's nothing else after that. So you need to invest, if you haven't already, into something like iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube Music, or even Sirius Radio if you have that. If you want to listen to the podcasts and the music and stuff like that you usually listen to when you're moving here. The next thing I want to talk about is community and culture. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but a lot of people here in Green Bay, a lot of the natives are actually pretty friendly, and they strike up a conversation and stuff like that easily with anybody. Now, on the flip side, people in Green Bay, they like to stare. Okay? People like to stare. And one thing I had to get used to, and I warned other people of it as well, is although the majority of people here in Green Bay are very friendly, you have some that will test your patience. And when I mean your patience, I mean some people here in Green Bay have the mentality where they will talk a certain way, and because this is a professional YouTube channel, I'm going to keep this as professional as possible. They try to talk and act in one certain way when their actions do not back that up. Okay? Some people are not about that life that they're talking to you. Okay? So then a lot of times you have to remind yourself that you're a new person, that's the old you, and you just ignore them, because honestly, people here are very quick to call certain government agencies and things like that. So with that being said, if you have any questions at all about moving here to Green Bay, whether it's about the environment, whether it's housing, whether it's local places to eat, barbershops, things like that, hey, send me a text message, send me an email, give me a call. Either one works. I respond to all of them, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you out. If you know someone who's moving to Green Bay and they don't know any of this stuff, make sure you send them this video and share it with them. And comment and let me know what has your experience been being here in the Green Bay, whether it's visiting, whether it's living here, and let me know what you thought about this video. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you guys like this video and check out this next video that's going to show up after me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and take it easy.